So today we are going to see some more additional features in Playwright. In the last class, we have seen some of the features, right? So today we'll see how we can capture the screenshots of the web page. And also we'll see how we can record the steps. Like we have written some test case, we have a different number of steps. So each and every step we can make it as a video. And once the test is got executed, so we can play the video and we can see what are all steps are got executed. In multiple conditions, we can also capture the screenshot, and also we can take the screen videos in multiple conditions. Sometimes every time if you want to capture, we can capture it, or only if failures are happen, then we can capture the screenshot or uh, videos. So different conditions are there. So we'll also discuss those conditions. So first thing, we'll start with the how to capture the screenshots. So it's very simple, but in Selenium, we have to write a lengthy code, but in Playwright, so some default options are available. And we can also write a single line of code to capture the screenshots. So again, we have three different approaches. One is we can capture the screenshot, whatever is visible on the web page. And we can also capture the full page screenshot from the top to bottom, and we can also capture the screenshot of specific area from the page, or we can capture screenshot specific element based on the locator. So there are three different approaches or three different ways we can capture the screenshot. So let me show you. So let's create a new file, and I'll name it as screenshots. And also I will show you videos, also video capture in the same test. I'll call it as a screenshots.spec.ts. Okay. So inside this, I'm writing a simple test. I say import test comma expect from @playwright slash test. So I've just imported required package. So now I'm writing a simple test here. I can say test screenshot demo and arrow function. Okay, so I'm also taking a page picture as a parameter. Right now, in the test, I'm trying to launch a simple page. Await, go to, just a second. Await page dot go to, and here I'm trying to launch an application here. Provide the URL. Okay. So this is asynchronous function. So you can say asynchronous. So I'm just launching the page in the test. Now I want to capture the screenshot for different things. Suppose when I open this URL on the browser, at a time you cannot see the full page. So you can see some half of the page, right? So full page is nothing but what, from top to bottom, including footer. That's called full page. Now, whatever is visible on the browser, I want to capture only this particular screenshot. So in that case, you can use this method await page dot screenshot. So this is a function which we have in the page picture itself. So await page dot screenshot, and here we need to provide page dot screenshot. We need to provide one parameter. So the parameter is a path. So where exactly we want to capture the screenshot. So I can say path, and in the single quote or double quotes, we need to specify the location of the file. So where exactly you want to save the file. Okay. So for that, what I will do is I will create one folder inside my project, and in that folder, I'm going to maintain the screenshots. So for example, in the same project, you can have the screenshot wherever you want, depends on your path. I'm creating new folder, and in this, I'm creating a folder called screenshots. So in this, I'm going to save all my screenshots. So to specify this particular folder, and you can, because this is a directly which is part of the project, and you can directly specify that. I can say screenshots slash. So this is the path, and along with this path, you need to specify the name of the file also. Let's say I will name it as a homepage.png. Okay, so path you need to specify. So now this particular command or function will take the screenshot of the page and save inside this particular location. Okay, this is a one command. Right. So when I execute this command, it will capture the screenshot and give the same name, homepage.png. But second time when you run the same function again, same command, then what will happen? Again, it will capture another page, but the whatever page you already captured previously, which is replaced with the new page, right? Every time it will be replacing. So now what I want to do is I want to keep my old screenshots of the same page so that I can compare later. Okay. So whenever you want to capture the screenshot and whenever you're saving the screenshot, I can save this with this name along with some timestamp. Okay, so I will save the file. I will give some name to the screenshot with the some timestamp or date and timestamp so that it is maintained the previous screenshot also. So for that, we can simply do a small customization. So what we can do is I can create a variable here. So we have as a predefined class in TypeScript and JavaScript, which is called date. And in this, we have a method called now. So this will basically returns a current date and timestamp. And that I'm going to store in a variable. Let's call it as a timestamp. Okay. And this I can make it as a const variable. So now every time which collects date, time in seconds and milliseconds also. So every second, the time keeps changing. So I can attach this timestamp with the screenshot name. Okay. So how we can do it? So path screenshots slash. So I will just keep this in the string and concatenated with file name. Homepage is what? It's a file name. So file name. And where when you want to add this timestamp is after the name of the file. So here before the dot, before the extension, I want to add it. So what I can do is I can keep this and again concatenation. And here I will add this timestamp. And after that concatenation and .png also should be there for the file. So that is an extension. We need to keep that like this. Okay. So now I've just customized it. So now whenever you capture the screenshot file name will be what? Homepage along with the timestamp .png. So this is a complete text. This is a complete file name of the screenshot. Okay, this is simple customization. You can do that. So why we have added the timestamp? Because every time when I capture the screenshot, that will be saved with the timestamp so that we can maintain the previous screenshot also in our folder, right? Okay, so this is how this particular statement will capture the screenshot. This will capture the page screenshot. And whatever the page which is visible on the browser, only that page will be captured. Page screenshot. Okay, now let us try to run the statement and see how it is capturing the screenshot. So currently I don't have any screenshots in the folder. Now let me go to terminal and let's run it. So here my test name is what? Screenshots.spec.ts. Screenshots.spec.ts and headed mode I'm running. And let me run it. So one test is just launch the my page, right? And it is just only half of the page is visible on the browser. So if I go back and see the screenshot folder, it is captured the screenshot. Now you can see this home page and some timestamp. The timestamp include the date and month, year, along with the time, current time, seconds, milliseconds, everything. So this is randomly changing. So when I click on this, and you can see this is the page. So whatever page is visible on that particular browser, only that particular page is got captured here. So this is called screenshot file. Now I want to capture full page screenshot till top to bottom, till footer of the page. So then what you can do is the same command. I can say full page screenshot, full page screenshot. So same command. Okay, now we need to provide some additional option here. So to take the full page screenshot, so here I'm giving a different name. I call it as a full page timestamp.png. And along with this particular parameter, we need to provide some additional parameter called full page true. So you can just after closing the curly braces, not closing, before closing the curly braces itself. So you provided the name of the file png till png, right? Say comma, some additional option we need to provide, that is full page colon true. Sorry, P is a capital letter, full page colon true. So this particular option will take the screenshot of the full page, even though it is not visible on the browser, but still it will take the full page screenshot. Right. So now let us execute this test and see. So this is a previously captured screenshot, which is already there, home page. Now go to terminal and run the test once again. So browser launched and passed. Now we can see full page. If I just click on this image, and you can see that. So this is complete full page from top to bottom. Everything is got captured. So this is another option. Now, suppose I want to capture a specific specific element screenshot. Like I want to capture the screenshot of this particular logo or the screenshot of this particular section, like feature products, all feature products. I want to capture the screenshot. Right. So then how we can capture specific locator screenshot also we can capture. So for example, let me inspect this element, logo element. And for that, I'm taking the locator of the image and go back. And first grab that element. So whatever locator you have captured, you need to grab that first element. So await page dot locator, sorry, await page dot locator and specify the locator of the element. Okay, this is the locator of the element. So I'm just storing into a variable, which is basically logo. And I can make it as a const variable. So await is not needed. So I just capture the element. Now for this element, I want to capture the screenshot. So simply what you can say, logo dot. So previously we have called screenshot method directly from the page picture. Now this time we need to call screenshot method from the element, from the locator. Okay. So logo element dot screenshot, and rest of the things are exactly the same. So whatever we provided inside this, we can just pass it in the screenshot method. Okay, but here we don't need to specify the full page, only the locator part, it will capture the screenshot. So here I will give some different name. I can say logo along with the timestamp dot png. So this will actually capture the screenshot of a particular element. What is a particular element here? Logo element. Logo element. So instead of writing the full command again, so you can just specify. So this part here. So if you want to combine into one single statement, what you can do is, I want to combine into one single statement. Write a statement instead of logo, just write it the entire statement like this. And here how it is needed. So instead of writing two statements, you can write a one single statement. So this is the locator of the element dot screenshot and specify the path name. That's it. So this will capture the screenshot of the element screenshot, either two steps or one single step. Right. So let's go and execute new terminal. Okay, now it is done. So go back to the screenshots. Now you can see the logo.png. So you can see this is the logo which is captured. And suppose I want to capture a specific section from the page. Let's say here, I want to capture the feature products, the entire section, only the feature products. So we can write a one single locator, which is pointing to entire feature product section. Okay. So to do this, let us write a proper locator for this, inspect. And I want to capture the entire feature product section, means this one, this box, whatever is highlighted, only this particular box I want to capture. Select it and you can see there is a class attribute, and I'm trying to use this class attribute to capture that element, a dot class, and zero element is matching product grid hyphen home hyphen page product hyphen grid. I think zero element is matching. I think there is a space. Just a second. Let's copy this again. Okay, now one element is matching. So you can use the CSS to capture this exact section from the web page. Go back, and this is for logo. And similarly, this is another example. Await page dot locator, right? So this is the class element. Now I want to capture the screenshot of this one. So again, continue the same thing, same method, screenshot, and this process is same. So dot same. So now here I'm changing the name. I call it as a featured products. So timestamp dot png. That's it. So this will take the screenshot of logo, and this will take the screenshot of the particular section. Now comment the first one, execute. So it is launched my page. Now I can just see, go to the screenshots, and you can see the feature products. So in the feature products, it is captured only that particular portion of the page. So this is also locator. So the entire section we captured in the form of one single locator. So individual products also, you can capture the screenshot by writing proper locator. Okay. So what is the difference here is to capture the page which is visible on the page, then we need to pass any options, just to provide only path. And if you want to capture the complete full page screenshot, so then you need to pass this additional option, full page true. And element screenshot, first we need to capture the locator or whichever element you want to locate, and then on top of locator, you can call screenshot function. And for this same thing is also here, this is a locator and we call screenshot function. So this is a way we can capture the screenshot of the web pages through programmatically. Okay, within the code, we can add this statement. Whenever you need, whichever page you need screenshot, you can add this statement. Now, so there is another way to capture the screenshot by adding global settings. So these are all local. So these screenshots will be captured only within the text. Now I want to capture the screenshot wherever I want for all the tests. Suppose my test is got failed. Immediately I want to capture the screenshot of the test. Right. So how it is possible? Or whenever I will run the test, immediately I want to capture the screenshot. Even though it is passed, I want to capture the screenshot. Or even it is failed, I want to capture the screenshot. So that kind of settings we can do in config.ts file. Let me show you. So close this and go to playwright.config.ts. So inside this, there is an option called use. So here. So in the use, we can add one parameter, which is called screenshot. So currently that is not there by default. You need to add your own parameter. So other parameters are there like base URL, viewport and everything. So some of them are commented and you need to add that parameter manually. You need to add that is screenshot. Screenshot. And when I say colon, it will suggest some options here. Let's say whenever you put single quote, you can see 4 options are showing here. Off, on first failure, only on failure. So when I say off here, it won't take any screenshot. So this is the default. Off is a default, which won't take any screenshot. On means every time it will take the screenshot. Every time whenever run your test, it will capture the screenshot of the test. Every time, whenever it is failure or pass, doesn't matter. Every time it will take the screenshot. Another option we have on first failure. So suppose you run your test and first time it is got failed, it capture the screenshot. First time. Why it is saying only first time failure? Second time it won't fail. Suppose my test is failed first time. When I run the test second time, will it fail or pass? Sometimes it may pass, sometimes it will fail. So there is a concept of flaky test in Playwright. Next, I will discuss about this. So what is a flaky text? Suppose first time I have executed my test. It is failed. Again, I rerun the same test. It is passed, which is called as a flaky test. So that should happen sometimes. That will happen sometimes. I will show you some certain scenarios. So there will be some intermittent issues while running the test. So in those cases, first time it may fail, but you don't have any issue with the code. Your automation script will work fine, but still your test will fail sometime. And second time when you rerun it, it will pass, right? In such case, the test is called as a flaky test. So when I say on first failure means what? First time whenever it is got failed, it will immediately capture the screenshot. Maybe the same test may pass in next run. It won't care about it. But first time, as soon as it get failed, it will capture the screenshot. That is the third option, on first failure. And the fourth option, only on failure. So most of the times we choose this option, only on failure. So whenever the test is got failed, immediately it will capture the screenshot. Even if the test is rerun multiple times, every time it is get failing, every time it will capture the screenshot. So there are four options are there: off, on first failure, on, only on failure. Okay. So what I'll do is I will take this particular only on failure, or you can make it on, off, whatever you want. This is the most popular option. So these are the options will automatically pop up here. Whenever I say single quote, four options will automatically pop up. You can select one of the option like this, right? And also say comma. Why? Because after this setting, there are other settings also followed by this particular setting. So you need to say comma. So this particular statement will capture the screenshot. Capture the screenshot. So this is a manual entry which we need to do, which is a manual entry which we need to. By default, you cannot see this option. Okay. So I said only on failure, only on failure. Now let me save it and go back to our test. Screenshot test where we have created. Yes. Okay. So now let me try to create another test. So this is one test which we capture the screenshot. Now I'm going to create another test. So it won't take a screenshot for every action. Okay. So whenever it got failed and wherever, whichever place it got failed, it captures the screenshot of that particular page. For every page, it won't take the screenshot. Okay. Every action, it won't take the screenshot. So wherever it got failed, it will capture the screenshot. Okay. Now I'm writing another test. So this time I will run only this particular test and through configuration file. Okay. Screenshots from configs. I'm just giving some different name. So I'll try to remove this entire code, right? So I will have another code here. So let me just copy here. So I just copied this. So this is another step. So I'm just logging to the page. So this is the web page and I will click on the login button and I will provide username and I will provide password and say login. And once you log in, you can see the logout button and also welcome screen. So these two I can validate. So these are the two validations I'm doing in the test. All right. So now this is the test I'm going to run. And have included any screenshot steps here? No. There are no steps here which will capture the screenshot. Nothing. It's a plain test code and which is having two additional assertions. So for now, what I will do is I will make it is on. First time I will make my test passed We will see whether it will take the screenshot or not. Later, we will change that value, okay? Through configuration file I'm doing. So whenever you do some changes in the configuration file, these changes are applicable for all the tests in your project. Remember this. So this is a global change, okay? This is applicable for all the tests. Now go back to the test and now I'm running. So as of now, I'll make my test passed and we'll see whether it is taking screenshots or not. So we already created one folder screenshots, right? But here it will, whenever it captures the screenshot, that will not store or will not save inside the screenshot, because this is not, we are not configure the path. Just we provided an option in the configuration file. We will see where exactly the screenshot will save. So go to terminal and then execute the step. So now it is started running my test. So I make it is on. So it will capture screenshot for the test. Now it is get passed. Now where exactly the screenshots will be saved. So screenshots folder, definitely it will not show because we have not specified anywhere the path of the screenshot. So where exactly it will store the screenshot? Under test results. You can see the test results here. This is the default location. All the results will be saved. So if I expand the test results, and you can see screenshots from config Chromium. So as of now, we configured our project for only Chromium. So it is giving this folder, and inside this, we can see the screenshot. If I open this is the screenshot of the page. Okay, screenshot of the test. After completion of the test, it will take the screenshot. See, after successfully login, this is the end page. This is the last page. So this page is got captured. Suppose I want to capture the screenshot only on failures. So then what we can do is we can just try to make the test fail. So for that, we need to do some configuration again. So go here. Instead of on, I will select only on failure. So this is very popular option because we won't take screenshot for every time. Only on the failures, we take the screenshot to analyze the issue. So only on failures. I've just changed the configuration. Now go back to the test and intentionally I want to fail it. So for that, I will provide some incorrect password. So this will fail my test. So immediately it should capture the screenshot, right? So go back to the terminal and execute. So I provided incorrect login and it is trying to do, but it will definitely fail. So now my test is got failed. And in the report also, you can see the screenshot here, right? The screenshot you can see in the result. And also you can see the screenshot in the report. So on the failure, so you can see this is a screenshot. So this particular step is got failed. And here it get the screenshot. It is added, attached to the HTML report by default. And again, the same screenshot will be saved under results, the test results. So go to the test results, same folder. Now you can see this is the screenshot. When I click on the old one is again replaced. When I click on this, so you can see only login screen, it is get stopped here. So this is how we can capture the screenshots only on the failure. So there are multiple options. Every time if you want to take the screenshot, even it is passed or failed, you can make it is on. And only failures we can select. Okay. So the multiple options are there. So you can just explore them. So this is screenshot option. Globally, we can set. This will capture the screenshot. So here there is no possibility of preserve the old screenshots. Okay. The old screenshot will be automatically replaced with the new screenshots. Here there is no possibility. But if you create your own screenshot, if you capture your own screenshot through programmatically, then there is a chance of modifying the name. Okay. So that is one. So most of the times we never use this actually. So we go for global options and especially only on failures. Why? Because this will also automatically add screenshot to the report. But if you capture the screenshot programmatically, we cannot add the screenshot to the report, HTML report. It is just for viewable purpose. The screenshot is captured in the folder that we can visible. That is visible. That's it. But that for screenshot, we cannot attach to the report. But if you do global setting, the screenshot will automatically attach it to the report. So most of the times we prefer this particular global option to capture the screenshot only on the failures. Only on the failures. Okay. All right. So this is all about capturing screenshot for the page, for the test. Now, so the next one is recording. How we can record the test. So recording means every action we can record. So whatever actions we do through automation, we can record. And that is possible only through configuration. So we don't need to add anything in the test. So for that, what we can do is, again, go back to the same test. Screenshots. Okay. Now, again, the same test. Again, change the password. So the same test, I'm going to record the steps. So when I run my test, automatically, I want to create one video also. So video recording. So to do this, again, we have a simple global setting which is available. And through programmatical, it is not possible. We need to set the configuration file. So you can again go back to the config file, playwright config.ts, and we already specified the screenshot, right? So apart from this, we can also add one more entry here, which is video, lowercase characters. Along with the screenshot, I want to capture the video. So I can say video, colon, and here again, 5 options are there. Off means it won't take any video. On means every time it will take the video. On first retrieve. On first retrieve is nothing but what? For example, first time it is get failed. Second time again we rerun the test. So when I rerun the test second time, it will capture the video on first retrieve. Return on failure means what? Suppose I have run the test cases, same test multiple times. It is get failed multiple times. At last, it is get passed. Let's say I have run the same test 3 times. First 2 times it is get failed and capture the video. And third time it is get passed. Then what will happen? It will capture the video third time also. But previously 2 times it is already captured the video, that will be removed. That's called retain on failure. Only when the failure happen, it will retain the screenshot or retain the video. And whenever it is get passed, it will remove those videos. Retrieve with video. Again, whenever it retrieve the test, whenever it is retrieving means it is whenever it is rerunning the test, it will capture the video. So I will provide all the options. We will also try to understand what is retrieving process. So these are the 5 different options are available. So most of the times we use this option called return on failure. Return on failure means whenever the failures are happen, we will capture the screenshot. And we don't prefer on option because this will take the memory and also the performance will be reduced because at the time of running your test scripts, parallelly it will capture the video, right? So that will take some time. So it will impact the performance if you make it is on for every test because this is the global setting is applicable for all the tests for all the actions, right? So it will impact the performance of your automation scripts. So don't prefer on every time, but most of the times we prefer only this one, retain on failure. Means if whenever your test is got failed, then only it will capture the recorded video. Now let me just make it is on for now. I will also show you failure case. So then put comma also. So this is a setting we need to do. This will record the video setting. And this entry also we need to add manually. Okay, this is also entry we need to add manually. Screenshot also I have added on failures. Video also I have added. Now, after saving the file, go back to the test and run it. So we don't need to do any change in the test. Okay, we can directly execute. So by default, I'm just making pass and later I will try to fail the test. And now execute. So login, successfully done, verified, and everything is get passed. So where is our video present? So to see the video, where exactly the video files are saved? Again, the video files are saved inside the test results. Go to the test results and you can see this folder and this is the video. So this is a video.webm, but here you cannot directly play the video and we can play this video only on the report, only on the report. So to see this video on the report, let me open the report first. npx playwright show hyphen report. So this command will open the report. So once you open the report, okay, so there is a problem. 1 second. Spelling mistakes, I can say playwright show report. So I have opened my report. Now we can look at this. When I click on this, it will capture all the steps along with the video. So here you can play the video. You can just click on this play button. Now you can look at this. Whatever steps you have done, it is everything is got captured. Within seconds, just 4 seconds it is taken the time. You have a lengthy steps, then it will play the entire video. You can see all the steps very clearly. So the video is automatically attached to the report, HTML report. And where exactly the screenshots and reports will be saved? The default folder is what? Result folder, test-results folder. From there, all the videos and screenshots will be captured. Okay. So this is the only setting we can do on the configuration file. So now I want to capture videos and screenshots both only on the failure. Anyway, the screenshot I put only on the failures, the screenshot is not captured. But I want to make video also only on the failure. So I can say, I can take this, retain on failure. Okay, now I will take the screenshot along with the video on failures. So go back to the test and let's make it is a fail. I'm just passing incorrect password. So then my test will fail. So obviously it will capture the screenshot, attach it to the report. Also it will capture the video and that also attach it to the report. Now run it once again. Yeah. So I'm taking a screenshot on failure. Also I'm taking screenshot on videos. So I have provided incorrect password and which is failed. Right now, this is the HTML report. Now we can look at this. This is the screenshot. And this is the video. When I play the video, it is just went to only till password login screen, but it is not successful login. So it is stopped here. So this is how we can capture the screenshot along with the video for the test. So multiple options are available in the configuration file. We can configure. So these are the two important options are available for capturing the screenshot and capturing the video, which are very important at the time of debugging the script. Suppose if you want to provide the details to the developer, some failures, and this information will be very, very useful. Okay, understood everyone. So which is very simple, very easy in Playwright. But in Selenium, if you want to achieve this, we need to write a lengthy code. And moreover, for capturing the videos, we need to again use some third-party libraries. Selenium doesn't support that feature. But Playwright, these are all built-in features. And we don't need to write any extra code to capture these things. Okay. Now, so we'll discuss one more important feature of Playwright, tracing. Tracing or trace viewer. So what is the tracing means? Tracing. Trace means what? Especially we use this concept in the debugging, tracing process, tracing. We can capture everything from the test. Like when I run my test, internally it will do a lot of things. But as a user, we can see only the UI actions, what exactly is performing, on which element it is performing click action, on what it is exactly validating. We are able to see on the UI, but internally it is doing a lot of things. It will generate the logs, right? It will also trace a lot of API calls. A lot of things will happen internally. So tracing means what? We can grab each and everything, what exactly happening in internally. That will help us to debug the issues. If there are any failures happen, developer will obviously ask for more details. But at the beginner level, you can just provide just a screenshot and videos and that is enough. But if you want to debug the issues in detail, the developer will ask you to provide the logs, traces, and timelines. There are n number of things are there. So we can capture all of them using tracing options. So we have another component called trace viewer. So in the trace viewer, everything will be displayed on the UI format. So we can easily debug our code. You can easily grab what exactly information is got traced for our test cases. Okay, so tracing is nothing but what? It will record all the actions, whatever we are doing in the test, record the snapshots, events, logs, everything which is able to capture in the tracing. And those things we can look or we can view in the trace viewer. So what is a trace viewer? Trace viewer is a GUI tool, a UI tool where we can see all the traced information. And also the trace viewer is also having very good number of features. Even the time travel feature is also available in the trace viewer. So time traveling feature is also available in the trace viewer. So I will show you how exactly we can work with the tracing and trace viewer. So very simple, very easy. Let me show you. So there are multiple ways we can do tracing. We can invoke the trace viewer. There are many ways, especially there are three different ways which we have to enable the tracing for our test. So the first, the popular approach is through configuration file. Okay. Now observe carefully. So I'm going to create another test for tracing purpose. Now instead of using the same test. So go and create new file. I'll call it as a tracing.spec.ts. You can give any name, it's not a problem. So I just give tracing.spec.ts. So in this, I'm going to write the same test, whatever we have created earlier, which is again same test. And then let me show you how we can trace the test, how we can use trace viewer. So this is my test. So to invoke the tracing, we have three different approaches. So the first approach is using config.ts file. Now let me show you. So go to config.ts file. Listen carefully. This is all UI navigations. You need to remember this. Go to playwright config.test file. So inside the file, you need to go to use. So we are already there in use. So we already have a screenshot added. Video is also added, right? So apart from this, you need to add one more option called trace. If I look at here, it is already there. So trace is by default option, it is there. So here we can provide multiple options. So for example, let's say simple say colon, it will show you so many options. Around 6 to 7 options are there. So we can make it trace off on all retrieves. Means what? Suppose my test is failed. Now again I rerun. Again it will capture the trace. Again I rerun, again capture the trace. So how many times you rerun the test? Every time it will capture the trace. It will capture the trace information. On first retrieve means what? Suppose my test is got failed. Again I rerun the test first time. In that case it will retrieve the trace. And return on failure is same. Return on failure is also there for uh, video, right? Video also the same option is there. Return on failure means what? Whenever my test is got failed, it will capture the trace for that. It will just ignore the passed cases earlier. So first time my test is got passed, it won't capture the trace, or it will capture the trace. Second time it is got failed, then again capture the trace for failure and remove the trace for old execution. So old run. So that is called retain. Retain means have the trace for failure and remove all other stuff. So retain on first failures. So first time is get failed and it will retain the trace. And second time it will fail again after rerunning. Second time it will fail. That won't retain the trace. And retrieve with the trace. So this is additional option which we have. So retrieve with the trace means every trace whenever you capture at the time of retrieving. So let's say I have rerun 5 times and 5 times it will capture the trace. So there are multiple options are there. Most popular, which most popular one is retain on failure. Only on failures we will analyze the logs and everything, right? So this is also popular option. Retain on failure is the most popular option. But for now, I'm just taking the first one and later I will make it is on. So I make it trace on. Okay, this is a configuration first we need to do. After doing this configuration, listen carefully, we need to go to the test and then run the test. So here my test name is what? Tracing. So tracing.spec.ts and headed mode. Just observe carefully. I'm running the test as usual. I have not done any modification in the test. I have done only the configuration. Okay, so once it is done, Okay, now it is get passed. So where exactly the trace file will be saved? So it will create one file, trace.zip file will be created. So whenever you run the test, whenever it's captured the trace, by default, I make it is on, right? So where exactly the trace file will be saved? The trace file will be in the zip format. That is also part of the test results. So go to the test results and here tracing, here you can see trace.zip. This file will be created. Now, what we will do with this file? We will open this file in the trace viewer. So we can open the file in the trace viewer. So trace viewer is a UI tool or UI component provided by Playwright. So whatever the trace file which is got created, which we can view inside the trace viewer. But how we can open in the trace viewer? So to open the file in the trace viewer also, there are multiple options are there. And uh, we can open this result trace in the report, and we can open the trace in the command line, and there are multiple options are there. First, let us see this trace file is a part of the report or not. So let me open the report, npx playwright show report. Playwright show report. Now you can look at this. So whatever screenshots, videos, traces we captured will be part of the HTML report. Now we can look at this very carefully. So this is our test. If I click on it, it will show you all the steps along with the trace file. So this is a zip file which is got attached to the report. Now, if I click on this, it will just open the trace viewer. This is called trace viewer window. Trace viewer window. Whenever you open the zip file from the report, it will show you trace viewer window. So there are a lot of things we can understand from this trace viewer. So let me show you the first thing. If I look at this top bar, this is basically called as a time travel feature. So what is a time travel feature? So where exactly our test is got started? Exactly in the 2 seconds, my test is got started. Now, if you move the cursor one by one like this, it is keeps changing the window. Now you can see. So login window is opened here. And here it is providing username and password. And here it is clicking on the login. And it is successfully logged in here. Look at this. When I'm moving the cursor on each and every screenshot one by one, it is just giving the each and every action, each and every step. I can put the cursor here. Still it is login. And you can see this. Here it is logged. Put the cursor at the here. Page is not refreshing. Yeah, now you can see here. I put the cursor here. So actually the page is not, yeah, here you can see. It is successful login here after 5 seconds, right? So this is called time travel feature. So you can just go back and move forward. I can see each and every action what exactly done in this particular feature. Okay, this is one important feature we have. Screenshot will be saved here. Each and every step we can go forward and move back. And other thing, here you can see 2 tabs, actions and metadata. So what is an actions? Actions means whatever actions we have done in the test case will be captured. So you can see we launch the page. See here. This is the we launch the page and click on the login button and fill the username, fill the password, clicking on the login button. Each and every action is recorded. And when you look at this, I put the cursor on the particular action. It is highlighting on the window. Now you can see I put my cursor on the locator.click login. So if I go back and see the screenshot, it is highlighted here. See in the screenshot, there is a red color mark, red color ball is highlighting in the login. You can look at the screenshot there. And similarly, when I put the cursor on the username, you can see this. See, username is highlighted. Password is highlighted. See, login is highlighted. You can see whenever you place the cursor on the particular action, it is highlighting that element. And the logout is clicked. And verify the message. So when you put the cursor on each and every step, it is parallelly, it is highlighting the particular element on the screens. These are all actions will be recorded in this window. There is another tab called metadata. So when you go to this tab, it will capture some other information, where it is started, how much time it is taken, on which engine it is executed, on which platform, user agent and viewport, how much width and height the display the page. Is mobile is false, right? Count pages, number of pages. So metadata information is also captured here. So actions and metadata. Now come to these three tabs. Action before and after. What exactly it is? Listen this carefully. Go to the actions first. And here I'm enable action tab. So when I click on this login, so when I just place any action, just select one of the action. So I'm clicking on the login button. Okay, so here I'm clicking, or I can click on the, I place my cursor on the login button. Click on the login button. So I selected this action. Now where it is screenshot displayed here, highlighting the login. Now before this action, what is my previous action I have done? And what is our future action? What is before action? What is the next action I have done? So if you want to look at that, select that action here, go before. So when I click on the before, what is the current action here is this one, clicking on the login. Now, before clicking on the login, what is the before? What is an action I have done before? Go to the before tab and here it will show you. So before clicking on the login, we enter the username and password, right? After completion of the action, we have highlighted the login and after that it will perform the click and then it will show the logout. So whenever you highlight some action, it will show you what is a before action you have done, what is a after action you have done. So both the things it will show you in the three tabs. So action means the current step. Before means the before step, before this action, whatever step is got completed, that will show you. And after that action, what is the step is completed, that will show you in the after. So this is all important. These are all time travel features in Playwright. So action, before and after. So you need to select proper action here. So for example, I'm clicking on the logout. So the logout is highlighted. So before this action, it is not an action. These are the assertions, right? So you can take any action. Let's say password. I'm selecting the password. So before selecting the password, what is the previous action we provided? Username. So go to the before. You can see only username we have entered before providing the password. So after selecting the password, what's the next action? Login should be clicked. Now, if I go back to the after, so login is highlighted here. So here we provided the action. This is an action before and after, because it will take few seconds after enabling login button. So here you can look at the current action, before action, after action. So these are the three tabs will be useful. Now scroll down this. Here there are multiple tabs. The locator. So here also you can create the locators. Suppose you have written some locator here. So login password. Fill locator is login password test. So this is some CSS. So instead of this, if you want to write another locator, you can write it here. So for example, go to that application and go to the home and clicking on the login. So this is a login button, right? So this is the login button. And for this, what is the locator which is got created? And for the login button, name equal to login is got created. So name attribute is taken. Get by role. It is basically used Playwright locator, right? We can create our own locator for the login button. So go back here. For the login button, I'm taking CSS. So let's say this is my relative CSS locator. So if you want to check this, you can check it here directly. Go back to this here, you can paste the locator. Now it will try to highlight that element. When I press enter, this is a CSS. Just a second. Button on click. We need to keep this inside the bracket. It's highlighting the second. This is not matching. So if you do not like this locator, you can locate that element and whichever locator you want to pass here. So let us try another one. Username element. For the username, this is a CSS which is given. Login username. What it is used? It is used again CSS. So let me try XPath. Okay, so this is a XPath element. XPath. Go back here. I can just place the locator here. See here, as soon as you provided the locator, it is trying to locate the element on the screenshot. You can see this. So this is the locator XPath I provided. Can you see this window? Let me maximize here. You can see that. See, whatever locator I provided, with this locator, matching element is highlighted. So here you can see this is a matching element. So whichever locator you provided here, the corresponding matching element will be highlighted on the page. Okay, so for example, same thing. So whatever locators have captured, you can just paste the locator here. It is highlighting the exact element on the page. So this is a locator tab. And the other tab is call. So here for every action, so to see all this information, we need to select one of the action here. So I'm just selecting click action, for example. So login button I'm clicking. For this particular action, you can use the locator and you can go to the call. So for this click action, login click action, these are the calls which is captured. So started at exact in which time it is started, how much time it is taken to click on the login button, and what is the locator we have used for login button. Okay, so this information will be shown on that call. And the log, this is another important thing. So in the log, it will show you what are all actions it is done in the backend. And these logs are only for this particular action. So whichever action we have selected, corresponding logs will be displayed here. So whatever the actions have done internally, it is captured here. Errors. Suppose if the test is got failed somewhere, the errors will be captured in this tab. And console. So these are our console logs. So these information is able to understand by the developers. So we cannot understand what exactly is done. So console logs also will be generated. And network logs. So most of the times in the network logs will be captured for every call. So whenever you perform the clicks, certain transactions will be happen between client and server. So whatever actions or events are triggered between client and server will be captured into this network. So, and in the network, it is also included some API calls. So you can see all different GET requests have sent, status code, context type, how much time it is taken, how much data is, how much data we retrieved from the server, how much time it is taken. So all the data will be part of the network. These are network logs. Source. Source is what? Our code. So this is an action I'm trying to get the information. So from the source in the sense, our automation code. And for this particular step, I'm retrieving all the information. And suppose if you selected another step and it is pointing another step. And if you have any attachments, it will show you those attachments, or else it is empty. So these are the different information will be captured in the trace viewer. So as a tester, what is your responsibility is, as soon as your test is got failed, it will generate the trace file in the zip format. And you need to share that zip format file into the developer to the developer. That's it. So developer will able to open the zip file and he will debug all this information accordingly. They can fix the issues. Okay, this is all about trace viewer. So very, very important feature, especially to identify the issues in your application. So we can share this file to the developers. Okay. And this file is automatically attached to the report. So once you enable the trace on, that is automatically attached to the report along with the screenshot, video, and trace is also added here. Okay. Now, so let me show you some more options in the trace. So what we have achieved so far is we just enable the feature in the config.ts file. So we just make it is on and we run the test and we open the report. Inside the report, we are able to click on the trace file and which is open in the trace viewer. This is one approach. And where exactly the trace file is stored in the under test results folder. Okay, this is one approach to generate the trace file. Using configuration file, we can generate the trace file. There is another way to generate the trace file. And when I say configuration file, again, this is a global, which is applicable for all the tests. For all the tests, every time it will capture the trace. Suppose I want to capture the trace only for my test, only specific test. So then how we can get the trace? So to get the trace only for the specific test, we can have one command here. At the time of running the test, we can configure that. So npx playwright test tracing.spec.ts -headed. Here we can provide one option called -trace equal to, you can simply say -trace space on. So this particular option will capture the trace of the particular test. This is specific to test whatever you are running here. So whatever test, so currently which you already have one trace, I'm trying to delete the trace for now. Okay, I deleted, and even go to configuration file. For now I just make it is off. Even though if it is make it is on, no problem, because that value will be overridden now. So now I'm running this command. So this will also create the trace file. Zip file will be created. So let me run this. -trace on. So it is launched my page, login and verified and log out. So it is got successfully passed. But where is the trace file is created? Go to the results, and here you can see the trace file zip is got created. So through command also we can create. Now how we can view this trace file? How we can view it? Through report, npx playwright show report. npx playwright show report. So once you open the report, the trace file is available here. So click on this and click on the trace. So click on this UI. Now it will open the trace. Okay. So this is how we can see the trace viewer. So again, same test is got, because we run only one test. So for one particular test, it is captured all the information. So this is a one approach. So what we have done here is through command prompt or through the terminal, we enable the trace without configuration. This is again local. This is especially for this particular test. Okay, so for example, here I have not specified any test. Then what will happen? So this command will run all the tests by default. So whatever spec files I have created inside the test folder, all the tests will be executed by this command. Also, it is captured the trace for all the test cases. Okay, very carefully run this command. If I don't specify your test name, by default, this command will run all the tests. Also, it will capture the trace for all the tests. And one trace will be captured in one trace, which include all the tests, which includes all the tests. Okay, remember that. So you have to provide the name of the test here so that the trace will be captured only for that particular test. So these are the options which we have. Now, other than this, other than the command, so far how many ways we have seen? First approach is what? In the configuration file, we can add trace. Second option is what? Through the command, we can generate the trace. There is a third option also there, which is also local. That is, in the test, we can write our own statements. So to capture the trace, what we can do is we need a context. So to capture the trace of the test, we need a context. So here I am passing the context also along with the page. So you can create your own browser, your own page, your own context if you want, just like we have done in the previous classes. Or else you can take the context also as a parameter. So by taking the context, what I will do is before launching the page here, use this context dot, there is a method called tracing dot start. We need to call this method tracing start. And we need to pass one parameter here. So in the start, what is the parameter we need to pass? In the curly braces, the first parameter is screenshots, because in the trace, we need to see the screenshots, right? And snapshots and everything. So screenshots, make it as a true. This is one parameter, comma, snapshot also. Snapshots also make it as a true. And you can put this in the next line also, no issues. So if you want to keep it in the next line, you can keep like this. This is one parameter and this is another parameter and closed. So you can also put in the next line like this. So this is the entry which we need to add. And before starting the test, using context, we can do that. If you don't have a context, we cannot do that. Okay. So you can put the statement single line or multiple lines. In the curly braces, screenshots true and snapshot is also true. And after that, closing the curly brace and closing the start function. So this is the entry point. So here this command will start taking the trace and we need to stop it. After completion of this, we need to stop it. So after completion of everything, we need to stop. So here we need to write another command. Context dot tracing dot stop. And when you stop the tracing, we no need this parameters. And what else we require? We need zip file. We need a zip file so that you can specify. You can specify the path where exactly you want to have a zip file. So you can specify the path colon, and here you can specify the path. So wherever you want to save, you can provide the path. So I want to save the trace file directly in my project folder. So directly I can just provide trace.zip. And the file name it can be anything, guys. Okay, so here I'm giving trace.zip. You can also give any name, xyz.zip file or abc.zip. So you can give any name to the trace file. So that is up to you. That's it. So here this command will start taking the trace for our test. And after completion of the test, it will stop tracing the test. So once the test is got executed, the trace file will be automatically created. Okay. So as of now, in our configuration file, we make it is off. We are not going to deal with this. Through programmatically, how we can capture the trace file. So that I'm showing you. Now you tell me, when you do through configuration, where exactly the trace file is saved? Under results folder. And even through command prompt also, when I making trace on through command prompt, even that time also trace file is saved under the test result folder. But now where exactly the trace file will be saved? Where this trace file will be saved? The trace file will be saved under the project. And moreover, this trace file is not attached with the HTML report. That is a limitation here. Okay, the trace file, whatever we generated, it is not attached to the report. It won't attach to the report. So by default, if Playwright is generated trace.zip file, so Playwright will take care of it. So Playwright will attach the zip file to the HTML report. Even if you trace through command prompt, or you can do configuration change. In both the cases, the trace file will be attached to the report, and from there we can directly see in the trace viewer. But here in this particular case, the trace file will be generated by us in some location. So that is the reason HTML report cannot capture the trace file inside this. But how we can see the trace file, how we can view in the trace viewer. So we will see that. Go to the terminal and run the test once again. And I'm removing the trace here, okay, because I have already included trace in my test itself. So I'm just running this. So now my test is running. Passed. Now, perfectly fine. So let us see the report and see whether it is having the trace file or not. So I'm opening the report. Just observe carefully. So in this report, only steps are captured. There is no trace file attached. Because we have created our own trace file. Where it is stored, you can see here. Here it is stored. Because we provided the project location directly. So here it is saved. So this particular zip file we cannot see on the HTML report. But how we can view this? So previously, how we have viewed trace file in the trace viewer? In the HTML, directly we click on the screen, that is automatically opens the trace viewer window. So where we have analyzed all the stuff. But if you create your own trace file like this, how we can view the trace file? How we can view the trace file? So there are two options are there. There are two options. So one, we cannot unzip this. Okay, we cannot unzip. So if you look at this, select reveal in file explorer. So where exactly it is get created. So in the Playwright demos, here it is. The zip file is got created here. We cannot open and see the zip file. Okay, that information is not viewable directly in the zip file. So we cannot unzip. Even though if you are unzip, you cannot see the detailed information. So we need to open this only in the trace viewer. So to open the trace viewer, this file, if you want to open the trace viewer, So you can open in the command prompt. Through command prompt, you can do it. So normally, if you want to open the report, we will run this command, right? npx playwright show report. So instead of show report, simply say show trace, and give some space and provide the file name trace.zip. So currently the zip file is got created directly inside my project. So I'm not providing the complete path. But if you create your own folder like traces folder, something like that, you need to provide the complete path of this trace.zip file. So what this command will do, this command will open the zip file inside the trace viewer window. Okay, npx playwright show trace.zip. Now when I execute this will open trace viewer directly. There is no HTML report now. So directly it will open in the trace viewer. So now we can analyze all the stuff in the trace viewer. So all the steps, whatever we created, time travel, and here locator, calls, logs, errors, everything we can see in this trace viewer. So this is one option which is available. So using this command, we can directly open the trace viewer window. Okay. And there is another option. Online viewer. So Playwright is provided some utility where you can open the zip file. So for example, go back to this page. This is trace.playwright.dev. Trace.playwright.dev. So this is a utility which is developed by Playwright itself. So when I open the website, it is asking for to upload trace file. Zip file we need to upload here. So how to upload the zip file? We have zip file captured here. You can just drag and drop or you can just upload. Now what I will do, I will just say drag and drop. See this, as soon as you drag and drop, it is open the trace viewer. So all the options you can see on the window. So these are the different ways to view traces in the trace viewer. So far, how many options I have shown you? Let me list out here. How many ways we can generate the trace and how many ways we can view the trace. So there are three ways I have told you. So first approach is what? So what is the first approach? So there are three ways. Tracing can be done in three different ways. You should tell me how many ways we created the trace. What is the first approach? Using playwright.config.ts. Second approach, using command. So what is a command we have used? npx playwright test -on trace on. So that is a command we have used. So here you need to specify the test name. Let's say mytest.spec.tsm. So this is the option we have used. And what's the third approach? Through programmatically. So programmatically means what? We have added these two statements. So this is the statement we have added before the before test started, and after that we have added statements, and after that we have added this stop. Right? So these are the three different ways we can create trace file. Okay, and what are the differences again? If you create the trace file through config file, this is global configuration applicable for all the tests. And using this trace file, using this command, if I don't specify the file, this command is applicable for all the tests. So if you specify the exact test file, then trace will be created for the particular test file. So this is another one. Third one is through programmatically we can create, and trace file will be created only for the test. Right. So when you create a trace file using configuration file, that will automatically attach it to the HTML report, and from there we can view the trace viewer. Using the command also, it will automatically attach the trace to the HTML report. From there we can view in the trace viewer. But when you create the trace using programmatically, you cannot see that in the HTML report. So externally, again, we have to open the trace file manually. So that is the difference. These are the three different ways to create a trace. So three ways to create trace file, which is .zip file. Okay. Now, how we can view the trace file? To view the trace file also, we have three different approaches. To view trace file, three approaches. So what are they? What is the first approach? From HTML file, click on trace.zip. This is the first approach. Once you open the HTML report, from there we can directly click on the trace.zip. That will open the trace viewer. Second approach is, what is the second approach? Through command. So what is a command? npx playwright show trace. npx playwright. Instead of show report, we simply say show trace, and we need to provide the trace file. So this command also will open the trace file inside the trace viewer. And the third option is what? Using utility. What is the URL of this? This is the one. trace.playwright.dev. So using this utility also, we can. So here we can simply drag and drop or upload trace.zip file. Okay, now you clear, everyone? So how many ways we can create a trace file, and how many ways we can view the trace file inside the trace viewer? These are the options are available. Okay, this is online. So most of the times, if you want to share the trace file to the developer, most of the times the developer will use this utility because they don't have any Playwright setup and everything. But rest of the options will work only if you have a Playwright setup on your local system. But this utility works everywhere globally. So once you have a trace file in the form of zip that you can open or upload inside the utility. So this is globally available. And you through command also you can open the trace viewer. Trace file you can open in the trace viewer. And from the HTML also we can see the trace file. Okay. So these are the different options are available to see the trace viewer. So trace viewer is very, very important component, especially while fixing the issues on your application, along with the screenshots, videos, and trace viewer. Understood, everyone? So please confirm in the chat box. These are all the UI tools you need to do practice. So screenshots, videos, and trace viewer. So we have done three concepts. Now, so one last simple concept, how to handle flaky tests and what is retrieve means, retrieves. So let me show you an example. For example, let's say, what is flaky test and what is retrieving process? What is flaky test and what is retrieving process? So we need to understand that. So let me give you a simple example. What is flaky test? Suppose I have written one simple test. Okay, so I have written some simple test. Let's say this is my test, and which is got passed. My test is got passed. And if it is test is got passed, do we need to rerun again? Suppose if there is any instability issues, do we need to rerun again if it is passed? No need. If it is passed, there is no retrieve is required. Retrieve is no need. We no need to retrieve that. Retrieve is nothing but what? Rerun the test. Remember this terminology. So retrieve is nothing but what? In Playwright terminology, retrieve is nothing but a rerun. So retry is equal to rerun the test. Rerun the test. Okay. So when my test is got passed, this is my first scenario. Is my test is got passed. Do we need to retrieve the test? Do we need to rerun the test? No. Suppose my test is got failed. First time my test is got failed. So do we need to retrieve? Do we need to retrieve the test? Yes. If it is unstable, we need to retrieve the test. So if it is retrieve the test, again it is got failed. Second time it is got failed. So my test is got failed first time. Second time is also failed. Then definitely there is an issue with the automation code. Second case. Now the third case, my test is got failed first time. Second time I have executed, it is passed. Third time I executed, again it is failed. So these type of tests are called flaky test. Flaky test. So this is the terminology. So flaky test is nothing but what? Unstable. Sometimes it will pass, sometimes it may fail, which is called as a flaky test. So what are the reasons for flaky test? Sometimes network issues will be there, or server will respond very slowly, right? So sometimes the UI elements are overlapping, or UI elements are slowly loading, or updates are there, and timing issues. And sometimes if there is any animations are running on your web page, sometimes your test cases will be failed, right? So the what is a flaky test means sometimes it will pass, sometimes it will fail because of n number of reasons. So those type of tests are called flaky test. So in the first case, we don't bother about this because if my test is got passed, we don't bother about this. Second case also we don't bother. Why? Because multiple times it is failing means definitely there is an issue in an automation script. We will fix it. So we don't need to bother about the second case also. And we need to bother only for the third case, right? Because sometimes it is failing, sometimes it is passing. Ultimately, we don't know whether test is passed or failed. We cannot come to the conclusion whether it is passed or failed because sometimes it is failing, sometimes it is passed. So we need to focus on the flaky test. This is we need to handle very carefully. So to handle this kind of flaky test, what we need to do? Suppose manually, suppose you have written one test case, it is unstable. First time it is got failed. Second time is passed. Third time failed. Again pass. So how we can handle this manually? How we can handle this manually? The only way is you need to run multiple times, right? At least 3 times, 4 times you run. At least if you run 3 times, 2 times it is got passed, then you will come to a conclusion. Okay, it is passing. Suppose if you run the same test 10 times, let's say 8 to 9 times are passed, only 1 or 2 times are got failed. So that is also fine. So your test case is passed. You can come to the conclusion. But in Playwright, the rerun will happen automatically. So we can easily handle the flaky test by rerunning the test multiple times. Suppose my test is got failed. I can ask Playwright to rerun this again automatically without manual intervention. Again, it has got failed. Again, I can ask Playwright to run rerun. I can ask Playwright to rerun the test multiple times. I can ask Playwright to rerun the test multiple times if it is got failed without manual intervention. And that we can achieve using retrieves. There is a topic called retrieves. We can set this option in the configuration file. So suppose when you say in the configuration file, let's say in configuration file, I will say retrieve equal to 3. So now my test is got failed. First time my test is got failed. Now how many retrieves I put here? 3 retrieves. So already first time is got executed. So second time again it will execute. Again it failed. Third time executed, it is passed. So how many retrieve times we have specified in the configuration files, those many number of times the test will execute. Those many number of times the test will execute. Okay, if it is a failure, if it is passed, it won't execute again and again. If it is a failure, then it will execute another 2 rounds because already one time is it got executed. Another 2 times it will try to rerun. So when you do reruns, at least one time it will pass. Whenever the test is got passed, then it will stop running the test. That concept is called retrieves. By using retrieves concept, we can easily handle flaky tests. That means the rerun will automatically taken care by the Playwright without manual intervention. So now let me show you how exactly this particular feature works. Very important feature, especially in the Playwright only this feature is available. In other automation tools, we have to do manually. There is no other way to rerun the tests. So let me create another test. So simple test I'm going to create. I call it as a flaky test dot spec dot ts. So in the flaky test, I'm just copying the same code, whatever we created in the previous example, same code. So logging the page, open the URL, login, provide user details, and clicking on the login, logout is visible or not, text is visible or not, I'm verifying. 2 assertions. I'm just wait 8 seconds here. just because I want to interrupt the test. I want to intentionally fail the test case at the runtime so that we can verify the retrieve is working properly or not. Or Playwright is rerunning the test or not, we can easily observe. Okay. So intentionally, I will try to fail the test at the runtime, interrupt the test. Because the flaky test, how we will recognize the flaky test, how when our test becomes a flaky, if there are any intermittent issues because of network or any other reasons, intermittent issues, our test becomes flaky. But sometimes it will pass when you rerun the test. Now look at this. So this is a simple test. For now, it will pass without any issues. Let me run the test once again. Okay, and this is flaky test.spec.ts and headed mode I'm running. Okay, so my test is running perfectly fine. So after successful login, it will wait for 8 seconds. And after that, my test will pass. So it is passed. It is not flaky actually, it is passed. But I want to intentionally make it as a flaky by interrupting the execution at the runtime. But before that, we need to do the configuration. So go to config.ts file. And if I look at here, there is an option called retrieves. See here, this is the option which is there. But actually this retrieves option will works only on the CA environment. So when you run your test cases in Jenkins or anywhere, we don't have any UI there, right? When you run the test case in Jenkins, it will run in the backend in headless mode. So we don't have any UI. So in that case, you use these options. You can use this option. Retrieves, currently 2 options are there. Suppose if you want to create your own retrieves locally, you can add another entry here. Comment this. You can add your entries. This is locally. Okay, you retrieve your test locally. Retrieve in the sense what? What is the meaning of retrieve? Retry, not retrieve. It is retry. Retry is nothing but what? Rerun the test. Retry locally. So this is the configuration we can do. Okay, so whatever the additional things you are adding in the configuration file, better to keep with your name so that later you will understand what are the changes you have done here. So you don't need to provide all these things. So just directly specify the number. I said 3 iterations I will do. 3 times I will retrieve. Okay, so when you run this test in CA environments, then you can enable this option. Okay, only on the CA environments, you need to enable that options. Otherwise, no need. So in the local environment, you can make it as retrieves 3 currently I'm saying. So how many times it will rerun? 3 times it will rerun the test. Okay, remember this. 3 retrieves I have defined. 3 retries I have defined. Remember that number. Now go back to the test. I will run the test. At the runtime, I will interrupt it. Okay, listen carefully. I am running the test. At the runtime, I will interrupt. Because of interruption, I'm just waiting here. Because if I don't wait here, the test will go very faster. I cannot interrupt the code or I cannot interrupt the execution. So that is the reason I put some wait time here so that it will wait for some time. So in meantime, I can interrupt the code or interrupt the application. Just observe carefully. So I have executed my test and it is launching my page. As soon as you log in, I just interrupting it. I'm just opening the contact window and go to the home window. I have interrupted my code, but still it is passed. Let me try again. I have not properly interrupted. So I'm running the test. If it is passed, it won't rerun again. See, a login after successful login, I'm interrupting here again. Clicking on the home page. Once you click on the home page, logout won't be displayed. Again passed. So I'm not properly interrupting the code. So let me interrupt. Let me increase the timeout first. So if you're interrupted the code, then only you will be able to see the retrieve options. Okay. Now this time I will try to interrupt. Okay, so I just click on the logout. I come back to the home page, but still it is waiting for logout and message. So my test will definitely fail. Observe what will happen after failure. It is failed or passed. Yeah, it is get failed actually, but again, it is rerunning the test. It is rerunning the test. Again, I interrupted the code. Again, I have interrupted the code. Because I just click on some other option. So it is looking for logout link, right? So again, it is impacted. So now third time automatically running again. Third time, third iteration. Now third iteration, third retrieval. I'm not interrupting anything. Just leave it as it is. So in the third round, my test is passed. First two rounds I have interrupted, and next two rounds are automatically executed. Now we can look at the output. So this is the output we got. So if I look at this, in the first run, I have interrupted. So this is got failed. In the second round, second retrieval also have interrupted. So this is got failed. Now in the third retrieval, it is got passed because I have not interrupted the code. So the third retrieval, it is got passed. So we have specified 3, Flaky test 3, count is 3. So including first round, it will complete a 3. So 3 retrieves. First retrieval I have interrupted. Second retrieval also I have interrupted. Third retrieval I have not interrupted the code, so it is get passed. So how many flaky tests it is identified? One flaky test it is identified because sometimes pass, sometimes failed. Okay. So this is a very, very useful feature in Playwright. So this will automatically rerun the test if it is failed. Okay, if it is automatically rerun if it is got failed. So this is called handling flaky test using retrieves option. Handling flaky test using retrieving options. So it depends on the number of times it will automatically retrying. So we no need to do manual rerun. But in other automation tools, if the test is got failed, again we have to rerun. It can be one test or it can be multiple tests. So suppose if you have a multiple tests, all are flaky. So then it will take care because this is a global configuration we have done. So this will automatically rerun every test 3 times. If it is failed, then this is applicable. If it is not failed, suppose first time itself my test is passed, then it won't run another 2 times. No. Only if it has a failures, it will rerun. So if you run 10 test cases, all 10 test cases are flaky, then it will apply this option for all the 10 test cases. Every test will run 3 times if it is flaky. Otherwise, no. Okay. So that's how we can handle flaky tests using retrieval option. So these are very, very important features what we have discussed today. So I will provide the entire notes for every concept. So please go through this and you can understand better. So how to capture the screenshots we have understood 3 different ways. Through programmatically we can capture and through configuration also we can capture. And different options, whatever is there for screenshot I provided here. Next thing, video recording in Playwright. So through configuration changes, configuration file change, you can capture the videos and there are multiple options. And tracing and trace viewer. So as I said, there are different ways to enable the tracing using configuration file, using command line, using programmatically, we can enable tracing. And at the same time, we can view the trace files using the command inside the report, using the command, using the utility online viewer also we can do that. And flaky tests, how to handle a flaky test, we have discussed it. So you need to do configuration retrieves 3, and this is one approach. There is another approach. We can also specify the number of retrieves in the command prompt. So let me show you that. So whatever we have done in the config file, that is global, right? So let me go to config file again. So I will just comment this retrieve for now. So then what we can do is we can also provide the number of retrieves at the runtime, at the time of running your test. Okay, so for that, what you can do is you can say npx playwright test. So this is a command normally we specify, right? And when you directly say ---- retrieves equal to 3. So what this command will do, this command, because we have not specified any test here. So that is the reason it will run all the tests. And for every test, the retrieve option will applicable. Suppose if you want to apply the retrieve option only to specific test, so then here you can specify the test. So for example, test / let's say flaky test.spec.ts. So now this retrieve option is applicable for only this particular test. Okay. Now let me run this again. So command is right, command is wrong. Playwright. Okay. Now when I execute this, so now the retrieves is applicable only for our test. So now it is trying to launch my page. Sorry, it is running in the background. 1 second. Retrieves 3 hyphen header. Okay, now I'll try to intentionally interrupt the code. Just observe. So meanwhile, I just click on the logout. It come out from the page, but it's still looking for logout. So definitely it will fail first time. So once it is failed again, it will try to open the application one more time. It has got failed first round, and second round it is again open the application. Now again, second time also, I will try to interrupt the code, interrupted. So now third time I will leave, it will pass. So through command also, we can specify number of retrieves. And this is again specific to test for all the tests. Okay, now after 3 times it is get passed. So first round failed, second round also failed, and the third round it is got passed. So through command also, we can specify the number of retrieves. This is for all the tests. This is for specific test. Okay. So I will provide these notes. Just read each and everything and do one round of practice so that you will understand all the configurations and everything. So now I hope you understand what is the importance of this playwright.config.ts, right? So whatever options they have provided by default, you can also add some additional options based upon our requirement. So this file will control the entire stuff, configuration file. Okay. So whatever changes we have done in the configuration files are applicable globally for all the tests. That is important thing. Right. So just try to practice this. The next class, we will discuss some more features from the Playwright. Okay. We'll stop here. We'll see tomorrow.